Hello, Virgo, and welcome to your first forecast of the new year. Happy New Year. My name is Nicholas Ashbaugh. This is for January 2025. I hope everybody's doing great. Right behind me, we have Apollo. He's feeling so much better, by the way. As many of you know, he was attacked by a dog last month, but suffice it to say, he's pretty strong, and I'm so grateful for that. Let's go ahead now and talk about what's coming through for January. So we're going to get into channel messages in just a moment, but a quick reminder that this is going to help you basically see high points, challenges, and all the things in between. In dreams last night, what I saw was a situation that required attention. The way that Spirit brought my attention to it was kind of like an elephant in the room, which is a turn of phrase meaning something big that you can't ignore, but for whatever reason, sometimes people do ignore it. Then I was kind of shown a work situation or just an event where there needed to be a mess that needed to be cleaned up, but nobody was dealing with it. And so it just kept getting bigger. And as the day progressed, more and more people were getting stressed out. And I kept wondering, I'm like, why doesn't somebody just say something? And that's really the first big message here, is that if something's obviously wrong or needs your attention, or someone's ignoring something, I think it's really good to call it into focus and like shine a spotlight and say, hey, I think we need to talk about this, or let's deal with this. And that will help you avoid a bigger mess. So proactive cleanup, preventative maintenance, being communicative, holding people to be accountable, all of those things are coming forth. The other thing that I saw in meditation was a Swiss Army knife, which, believe it or not, I would connect this to the Magician card. Why, you ask? Because in that sort of pocket knife is a bunch of different tools, much like the different tools that a magician has on their altar. And it's just a matter of picking the right one. And it also is a reminder that you have the power and capacity to overcome an obstacle. And it's just about belief, focus, and application. And so whatever it is that you're feeling maybe is insurmountable, it is something that you can overcome. But faith and belief in yourself is key, and then just the follow through and the focus afterwards, okay? So let's see how this all comes together, if there's something that requires your attention, and then where we can help you find your inner magician so you can overcome an obstacle. All right, let's shuffle the cards. Take a moment, if you will, close your eyes. Focus on the beautiful image of the moon above you. Imagine that there is a silver circle around your body, across which only positive energy and guidance can cross. And now let's call in angels, spirit guides, ascended masters, and allow you also to connect to your own inner wisdom. Open your eyes, let's shuffle the cards, and let's see what January has in store for you, Virgo. There's been so many instances of the Eight of Swords coming through. Common theme in January so far. I'm loving the star energy for you. All right. I've also seen a few Ten of Swords too, so it feels like this is a month for healing and recalibration. Let me pull the rest of the cards, and then I'll do a card-by-card analysis of everything. All right, let's get started with your catalyst. When we look at this particular card, it's really helping us focus on something that can make a significant and powerful shift in our life. So moving towards herbal medicine could be something that could be beneficial, but I'm going to take this a step further and abstract it. And I would just say anything that is Eastern leaning. So this could be acupuncture, chiropractic adjustments, yoga. I think so often with traditional medicine, I should say traditional Western medicine, there is a tendency to just prescribe to help with symptoms, but not always a desire to go deeper to figure out what the source is. This isn't true of everyone, but in my experience, even in the past month or two, I had a bunch of doctors that just wanted to get me in and out. So to give a personal example, I was going through some acid reflux experiences that I never had before. And I went to 2 GI specialists, 2 ENTs, 2 doctors, even urgent care. And eventually the person that was able to solve it for me was a chiropractor. There was a slight adjustment issue with the diaphragm and the stomach, and he did some sort of adjustment, and then everything shifted and I was fine. So I think it's important to explore all avenues, Eastern, Western. It's not an either or. And in that mix, you might be able to blend or identify something that works for you. All right, let's quickly look at all the cards here and see if there's an overarching journey or trajectory. So I love that the star card came through. You heard me say that as I was pulling everything onto the table here, but I do see that there's a need for self-care. And I also think some of you might be either beating yourself up a little bit or perhaps just sort of like focusing on worst case scenario. So I'm going to help you through that because most of the cards are positive. Some fears over money, some perfectionist tendencies here, or perhaps, again, fear of failure. But the star comes through to show you that there is sort of a light at the end of the tunnel. Let's get started with the moon first. I love this card because it's showing that you may have to be the voice of reason or, again, shine the light on something. Let's look at the traditional card for just a second. You'll notice there's a lobster coming out of the water. There's a path between the dog and the wolf, and it's kind of like this nexus between all 3 of these sort of symbols where the work starts to happen. The lobster can represent a fear, something that's starting to come forth. Now, what can happen here is there's distraction. The dog and the wolf are howling at the moon, but they're not really addressing this. So what I was seeing was a situation for some of you that might be in like a job or school situation, or even just something going on in your family where everybody knows that there's something going on here, but they're too distracted with something else to deal with it. They're ignoring it. They're trying to sweep it under the rug. So this is a month with whatever it might be in your life that you can't sweep it under the rug. It could also be, by the way, something going on in your body. So maybe there's a health challenge or a financial challenge, because when I look at the environment here, I see the 4 of Pentacles. And so the moon is coming through to shine a light onto that and say, hey, wait a second, let's focus on this. I know that some other things are important as well, but we first need to get to the bottom of things, to the root of the issue. And that's really what this is about. There can also be someone in your life that may be using the distraction to their benefit. So the moon can be a person that sometimes doesn't always tell the truth or tries to get away with things. And again, we can sort of see them here lying in wait in the background. So don't let the distraction take your focus away from what's important. Stay focused, stay grounded. Now, in the traditional card, we see a path that's leading its way to the moon there. So if you're going through anything in your life right now that feels overwhelming since the moon was reversed, this is saying it's okay. Emotions are part of who we are on this planet and part of the human experience. So find a way to address and cope with those sort of emotions, because there is a road ahead that is leading to something better. Like I said, a light at the end of the tunnel. Finally, this is a reflective and contemplative card. Trust your gut. Just like a high priestess reversed, the moon reversed is saying, you know what to do. Don't let anyone or anything steer you in another direction. Now, the way that I kind of like to differentiate moon versus high priestess. High priestess, a lot of times you can see it, feel it. There's a lot of kind of clarity of mind. But with the moon, it's like in your bones. You just feel it in your gut. And so there can be a first meeting with someone and it's really positive and you're like, this person's amazing. Or you read something and you're like, I want to be involved with this. The reverse can be true where it's just like, no, keep that far away. Trust the instincts. Those survival instincts are going to lead you in the right direction. Invariably, every time you don't listen to the instincts, it usually leads to something that is messier than it needs to be. I think you have a really great chance this month to completely avoid this outcome card. It does not need to be this. This is fear, anxiety, or letting something fester. And so we're going to focus on proactive approaches towards everything this month. When the elephant's in the room, point it out, right? And again, don't let anybody sweep things under the rug this month. I do love that we have Empress energy crossing all of this. So I would hope and expect that she would make an appearance here for you, because you're kind of like a born leader. So this is your chance to lean into that authority, leadership, and self-sufficiency that you absolutely have, and do what you need this month to take care of yourself. So the Empress here, it's kind of interesting. What I'm focusing on is, we do see a rabbit here at the foot of her throne, but otherwise it's kind of empty. And so this is a month where, instead of turning attention towards partner, children, parents, work, etc., you're almost being asked to go inward. And the combination of the Moon and the Empress card, they're like two amazing divine feminine energies. So trusting your instincts and taking care of yourself, working on something that is going to make you feel strong, powerful, supported, nurtured. I do love that we have a rabbit here, because that shows that abundance is right there within reach. This is reassuring because as we look at the environment here with the Four of Pentacles, you may be feeling at the moment that fewer things are coming through for you. So there may not be as much support in the way of money or time or energy or even people. And you're thinking to yourself, is this going to last forever? The Empress comes through at the center, and she's allaying concerns, saying, no, look at this little bunny. Things are going to pick up and move a little bit quicker, but it's important to create a clear line in the sand. Boundaries, expectations, wishes, desires. And if somebody is pushing something under the rug, you raise your hand and say, we have to deal with this. So really finding, using, and embracing your voice. It's easier for some of you than others, but the more you practice at it, the better you're going to get. The other thing here is simply saying no more often. And that is going to free you up to have more of the resources, time and energy, your own resources. So this is a really, it makes sense when you think about it, but if you're feeling fatigued and burned out and tapped out, by saying no, it's almost like you'll be able to do more with what's in the tank already. So you could take this 4 and make it double what it is, because you're just going to have more energy. So that's my first advice, is to trim out some things that don't give back, either because you're not paid what you should be paid, or the person isn't showing up the way you are showing up. So whether it's a monetary lack of reciprocity, or an energetic lack, now is the time to make sure that the scales are balanced out there a little bit. Okay. Now we have the Eight of Swords in reverse. This is an awakening. It's almost as if you're taking the blindfolds in this card off, and you're starting to see things as they truly are. Sometimes it's challenging because it can be a person's sort of true demeanor or true desires that are coming through, and sometimes we wish we could unsee or unlearn that. But if so far thematically, it's about awakening and embracing things and dealing with them in real time. So you don't want to close down whatever is coming through. It's like, I'm glad I know that. I won't put too much time or energy into that now. I'm going to focus on this instead. I refer to this as a prison of thought. What happens in this card is she's not really trapped. She could just step back or step to the side. She just has to kind of like move a little bit, free her arms, take the blindfold off, and she will see. Sometimes we think to ourselves, and we have it here in the trajectory, I want to help you with this. These are the two cards that need to be kind of like transmuted and removed from the spread ultimately. Not removed, but we need to deal with them and allow you to move beyond them. So Eight of Swords is saying, I don't see it. And then you start to think, maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe I'm not going to succeed. So for those of you that are trying to achieve something and you're not getting the traction that you want, these two cards don't mean that that's always going to be that way. We already saw the rabbit here showing that things are turning around. But the fear and anxiety start to take center stage. And what does that do? It distracts you from the path that's in front of you. So just because you don't see it doesn't mean that it won't happen. Just because it's not happening now doesn't mean that it will never happen. And it's about moving beyond what's right here, right now. Thankfully, as we take a look at the crowning card, we see creativity, intuition, and a very, very receptive card, the ultimate one here in the minor arcana. So really open yourself up to receive. For those of you that are watching this, when I release it right on New Year's, this is a chance for you to say, I am absolutely ready to receive love, abundance, opportunity right here, right now in the highest forms. I don't need to wait. I'm ready. I'm ready and I'm worthy. If you had to pick two of those things out of the whole list, being ready, being worthy, and allowing it to surpass your expectations, that can be your mantra with the King of Cups. And then it's sort of like, let it come to me. I'm ready. This is also indicative for those of you that are trying to find a person, create a new relationship, friendship, or alliance, that this is a perfect time to do that. If you want to launch a project, great time for that. If you're just open to see a shift of some sort happen in your life, whatever you felt blocked in the previous card, we're starting to see now, okay, it didn't show up when I wanted it, but maybe now is the time. Maybe everything that I've been through is aligning me to receive what I'm seeking right here, right now. This is in the upright position, so it's very favorable. It's representing where you want your thoughts to be. Think of the satellite dish pointing up towards possibilities. And that's really what I'm getting with this, okay? The good thing here is this is opening you up to receive star power. This particular star card does a better job of showing what's going on, so we're going to use this instead. It's Rider-Waite-Smith derivative. We can see two vessels, and what you see here is that she's in the middle of the flow of energy. She's also deciding, how much to give, how much to keep. There is a balancing energy. What's so cool is it's perfectly aligned to how you're showing up. So we have Temperance and the Star. Both of these cards have two cups in the center, and they're balancing things out. They're also opening themselves up to just receive. So one of the mental blocks that could be coming through, because again, I mentioned that Eight of Swords can be a prison of thought or limiting thoughts in general, is just that you're worthy and you're ready to step into the spotlight. You are. There might have been a rejection in the past couple of months from a person, from a place of business, from life in general, where it's like, well, that hurts. That hurt my ego. That does not mean that you're not capable of stepping into the power of the star. Be yourself. Don't feel like you have to mute your light. If anything, now is a time to be slightly bolder. And because we're getting multiple sets here of these two cups, focusing on networking with like-minded individuals in this period of time is really, really important. So get out and mix and mingle a little bit. By the way, the star card is a very advantageous card when it comes to business and being able to have a breakthrough moment. So I'll keep focusing on how to open up that breakthrough moment for you. First things first, let's look at how you're showing up. Temperance. Be patient. Be patient with yourself, with the progress or lack of progress that you might be seeing. Temperance is not in a hurry. If we take a look at this traditional illustration, you're going to see some similarities between the moon, which is at the center, and this. There's a lot of pairs coming through. So notice how in the moon there's a path in the middle, and then in Temperance there's also a path here. When you slow down long enough to just sort of be present and tune in, something can be revealed to you. Now, interestingly enough, this particular card usually connects to the month of April, at least in the way that I read. And so what we're seeing here is the first quarter of the year for you is transitional. There's a little bit of a shift into a new path, a new direction. We are seeing a lot of traveling cards here where there's paths down the middle. So it may take you a moment to realign your GPS and decide, do I want to stay here or do I want to go there? So an encouragement here to grow and to explore is to look at different geographical points for living, working, and experiencing things. It's a great time for travel if your time, energy, and budget allow, or if you're just inclined to do so. Now we have these are three limiting cards, but I would say this is the one that is most based in reality. There could be limited time or money or energy that's going on. You could just feel exhausted. We talked about how to deal with that. Some of it is just by saying no more, and that way you have more energy to do the things you want to do. There could be limited budget, and then this is a time to advocate and speak up and say, I need to be paying more, or I don't have enough to do this right now. How about, we push it out a little bit? So you're going to manage time, deadlines, and expectations. Then this could also be holding on to someone or something longer than you need to. The Four of Pentacles I like to refer to as the devil you know. So if something no longer serves your highest good, you're not growing from it, you're feeling sort of anchored, then sever the tie so that you have the freedom to replace it with something more. Sometimes in order to grow, we have to let go and create space. And that's really what I'm picking up on with this. When you're looking at money, payment, and any sort of reciprocity, the Four of Pentacles is showing a lack. So this is a time where you want to be a little bit more outspoken and maybe a little bit more aggressive when it comes to negotiating compensation, for sure. All right. In Hopes, Fears, and Opportunities, we have another powerful card, the Queen of Wands. She's reversed, and so there's a couple of things here that I'm getting. She's bullish, and I mean that in the best way. Like when we're looking at financial definitions, bullish means that you're optimistic about things continuing to go in the right direction, or you're optimistic that things are going to go in a positive trajectory when it comes to money. She is stubborn, and it can also be in the best sort of way. So if she is very dead set on making something happen, nothing will stop her. So I like those elements of it. However, Queen of Wands in reverse can be closed off to new opportunities. She might be existing with a little bit of this. I'm not seeing it, therefore it's not happening. She could also be so fixated on something not being good enough that she just wills it into existence. I have perfectionist tendencies sometimes, and on a project that'll be coming up over the next month or so, I have an editor that I'm working with, and he just told me, it's fine, you're overreacting. And I took it exactly that. I'm like, thank you so much. I needed an external point of feedback. He doesn't lie, he tells the truth. He would let me know if we were in trouble. And he's like, no, it's actually quite good. So sometimes we need that external check because we can be our own worst critics, and we can worry about this, and we need to talk about the Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords energy can come through sometimes when we're just afraid of failing, or when we have such a high bar of excellence that almost nobody could succeed, much less ourselves. So give yourself credit, space, and room to grow. And just as I did, lean on someone else and say, what do you think? And oftentimes they can give you a different perspective and help you take the blindfolds off a little bit. Now, the Ten of Swords can have some health implications, so why don't we just go ahead and get into that area? So we're going to go into health, wealth, love, and destiny. We're going to begin with health and well-being. I'm going to talk a little bit about the Ten of Swords, and then we'll get into the Oracle card. So Ten of Swords from a health perspective really does have to do with paying attention to the limits of your body. So if you're feeling burnout, take a vacation or take a sick day or just take some time off, because if you push beyond the burnout, it can then show up in a way that is much more of a mess, both literally and figuratively speaking. And since I saw that whole metaphor of, a situation getting worse because of an elephant in the room, someone not paying attention to something, this is perfectly aligned with that. When there's a little tiny ache or pain, that's when you go to the doctor. Don't wait until there's like major inflammation or an issue that kind of could have been dealt with sooner than later. This can be fatigue, burnout. It can also be acute pain. It can represent issues with the back. So now more than ever, if there's something going on, work with that health professional, make sure that you're okay, and get the rest that you deserve. Now let's focus on your Oracle card. We have something here that says change of seasons, and the card came through in the reverse state. And I feel like what's going on for some of you is a need to change things up because, yes, the weather's changing, so we have less daylight right now. We did just go past the solstice in the northern hemisphere, so it's starting to get longer, but it's going to take 2 or 3 months before we notice that. So if you're going through anything like seasonal affect disorder, where you're missing the sunlight, it's creating a little bit of sadness, depression, or just an inability to focus, then you need to change up your lighting, change up your sleep and wake schedules, talk to your doctor, etc. This may be a month where you need to focus on hydration. We have King of Cups, Star, Temperance, the Moon. All of these are water-based cards or have water elements in them, and 2 of them have people balancing out the water. So we want to make sure that you're not doing too much in the way of caffeine, sugar, salt, or anything that might throw off that sort of hydration balance. If you're trying to conceive, the combination of the moon and the Empress is perfect. And so you may have more success this month. The moon can represent hormonal shifts for both men and women. So again, if you're noticing that, take care of that, talk to a doctor as needed. The moon card can also represent irregular cycles for women, so that's also something to pay attention to. The Eight of Swords and Ten of Swords work together. Eight of Swords is saying don't ignore something small, so I feel like we've already talked about that because you can avoid this. Proactive approaches towards health is important. Get the annual physical, your eye exam that you should be getting every year or two. Whatever you're due for, it's time now to just sort of like go through that and make sure that screenings will catch anything that they need to. And then if you feel something or see something that isn't being dealt with, find the right person that can listen to you. And I gave my own example there. Sometimes it takes a lot of different approaches to find the right one, but it's worth the research that you put into it. Four of Pentacles is also how you're holding on to stress. And so exercise, therapy, and any sort of creative outlets will help because you see how he's doing this. We tend to hold the stress here. So you don't want to be holding stress around the heart. You don't want to be holding it in the shoulders or the neck. We want this area to be open. And breathing activities, yoga, stretching, all of that kind of opens up the heart and throat chakras. Speaking of which, Queen of Swords is also about opening up the throat. Other than that, I feel like we've already talked about Ten of Swords. It can be acute pain in the back, so we want to be careful about that and avoid burnout. Generally very manageable here because there are indicators that will come through if there's something that needs to be fixed or addressed. Let's go ahead and move on from health to wealth. Here we have a card that I think is going to help out here. It says knowledge, laughter, and bonding. So the knowledge piece is encouraging those of you that want to seek some training or schooling or any sort of educational endeavor. It's saying, yes, now's the time to do it. Laughter. Have some fun. We put so much energy on being serious, being successful. You have to work hard, but you have to also have some fun. And the bonding piece is super, super essential right now. So we talked about all the two cups that kept showing up here. So there's one here in Temperance, and then we also see the same two cups showing up here in the Star. This is friendship, mentorship, alliances, networking, and for some of you, love too. There can be a couple of people because we have two sets of two cups. So you get to have some core interactions this month that can bring you that feeling that I'm okay. And this is going to help you find new opportunities. So if you're looking for work, it might come through friends, family, or existing networking. Okay? All right, let's move on. We're doing something special this month where I'm going to pull one card for each of the subcategories. So let's shuffle, and I'll name them as I'm pulling them. All right, we'll pull a card for those that are currently working. We'll look at those that are entrepreneurs. Now we're going to pull a card for anybody that's job seeking, students, and then retirees. And now let's do it one by one. We're going to focus first on those of you that have a job. If you have a job, it feels like there's a lot of pressure coming down on you. So the Emperor in reverse can be a very demanding authority figure. It's their way or the highway. It can also be just these arbitrary levels of approval that sometimes create stagnation or just kind of close out innovation. So make sure that you save a first draft. Invariably, sometimes people that are super demanding, they realize that at some point they might have gone too far. Keep those first drafts. They could help you down the line. I do think in the long run, some of you are burnt out. And as we look at this outcome card, it may not be worth the time and energy. I mean, I can tell it isn't for some of you. So you don't need my permission. But this month in particular, I would throw your hat out into consideration for like other jobs and opportunities if you're looking for that. If you want to stay where you're at, I think the important thing here is to just continue to do great work and find places maybe outside of work where you can create balance. Your patience And your ability not to sort of like take the bait is going to be key, because there might be someone trying to initiate an argument or disagreement, and it's important for you not to do that. You'll stand out by being strong, firm, and communicative, and not going into the argumentative sort of energy. But I am seeing a glass ceiling or a burnout for some of you, and I think that that's something you want to pay attention to. All right, let's take a look at those of you that are entrepreneurs or have your own company here. We have the High Priestess, which is amazing. She is reversed, and she's basically saying, trust yourself. This is very close to what I was saying with the Moon card in reversed at the center. That one is about a gut instinct, but this one is about a vision, a dream. There's something that you are putting too much thought into. You already know how this should be, and I don't know why you might be talking yourself out of it or might be second guessing your instincts here, but you shouldn't be. All right, so that's the first thing. Also, when it comes to anybody that you might be dealing with contractually, the High Priestess in reverse can represent someone that might be trying to manipulate or maneuver in a way that just doesn't feel right. So if you see anyone in your life that just feels like, again, I don't trust them, I want you to listen to that instinct. If it feels good, go for it. If it doesn't, don't. And ultimately, if you know something is the way that it should be, then don't talk yourself out of that. You have good instincts. Job seekers. We have the Six of Pentacles coming through. Competitive. It's competitive right now. People are pickier than they used to be, but this is a card that shows that you have a good chance. The main thing here is you want to tip the scale in your favor. And we actually got an advice card on that, which is this. However you can differentiate yourself. It could be a niche skill that you don't always talk about. It could be something that you're really, really proud of, but you sometimes bury or don't use enough, adjectives to make it sparkle and really be front and center. Whatever it is that you can do to make you stand out, that's what you want to do. And also, because we're getting all these, the Two Cups and the Star and the Temperance card, anything you can do to network and get out there is really, really important. I do feel like you have a chance of upping your pay scale from whatever it is. For those of you that might be not just in the job seeking category, but you might be employed and job seeking, it's worth it because we see an upgrade from the Four of Pentacles to the Six of Pentacles. This is also just the universe saying it has your back. I can see that some of you are pinching the pennies and trying to make it last. It doesn't feel like this is going to be a forever thing. I don't always look at timelines with this, but 4 to 6 weeks, depending, because there is a range on the Six of Pentacles, and he's holding onto a couple of them. So I do feel conceivably, by the end of this month or in the middle of next month, you could see the breakthrough that you're looking for. It is encouraging you not to settle for something. There should be this sense that it feels right, that it brings you the balance that you need. It may not be the Goldilocks thing, but it's enough. It needs to feel like it's something that you're really, that you feel like you could take a bite out of and really feel excited about, okay? So don't settle for something that's disappointing or isn't aligned to your path. The Star card wouldn't come forth if you didn't have the potential of getting what you want. There may be a couple of caveats. Maybe it's the pay, maybe it's the location, but it shouldn't be the job itself, okay? I hope that helps. For those of you that are students, you may be ready for graduation. The Death card can show that. You may need to make a big change in your major or program. Death is change. It does not need to be something that you're, sort of freaking out at when you see the card. Something needs to move, change, or shift, though. And it could be also that you just want to change the world, because a different way of looking at this card is transformation. So if part of your career goal post-graduation is to be someone who changes policy, changes politics, changes the world, this card is aligned with that. But if you are feeling like you're at a dead end, or that you need to do something different, transfer to a new school, change your program, change your advisor, this card is definitely aligned with that. It could be because you're feeling burned out, or because the person that you're working with just isn't listening to you. There's a breakdown in communication. I remember back when I was in college, there were a couple of classes in undergraduate that I took where I just, one of them, I didn't have the prereqs. The other one, it was just an advisor, a teacher that I didn't jive with. And I was like, this isn't it. I need something else. So again, listen to yourself. It's going to help you in the long run. by simply saying this is something that I need to do differently. So listen to that. Okay. Finally, for those that are retired, I love the World card. Travel is coming through. Also, expansion. You can, should, and will, because of this card, continue to grow and learn new things. So if you wanted to take a class or do something completely different, this is a discovery and an expansion card. So anything that brings you into that energy of expansion is really good. And again, the world can also include, for instance, travel. Okay, now let's take a look at love and relationships. I'm just going to pull the Oracle card up for this. And we have a beautiful Holy Grail coming through here. It says discovery, inner discovery, finding sacredness, and you are what you seek. So this is actually really appropriate for relationships because in order to get to the place where you're ready to receive love, you need to be your own Holy Grail, the Ace of Cups overflowing, basically, and that's what this is. So be the one that you seek. That's exactly what this is. You are what you seek. And you also attract what you need to work on and also the work that you've done. So the more you get like your feet on solid ground, the more you face your fears and anxieties, which are a part of the moon card. And the more that you heal, the less that you have to be taught by someone else. You won't be attracting a teacher, you'll be attracting a partner, and that's so much more fun in the realm of relationships. All right, let's pull one card for each of the main three categories that I look at. We're going to pull one for those in an existing relationship. We're going to then look at those that are seeking love. And finally, we're going to look at those of you that are single and happy. All right. For those of you that are currently in a relationship, it's about rekindling the spark a little bit. The Magician represents chemistry. Sometimes when we're busy, or one or both of you are busy, there can be this lack of connection. And the Magician is just slowing down, rekindling the spark that you've always had and saying, let's have some fun, let's have some personal time together. It does not necessarily mean physical intimacy, not the Magician card. It's more like you can just be sparking, a great conversation, spending some time, anything of that nature. The other thing that I'm seeing here in existing relationships is there's too much going on. The Magician can be like, ooh, shiny thing, and kind of like pulled in all the directions. We have all the tools at the table, but he's really just using his wand right now. So it's about focusing on one thing. And I do think that finding that focus could be the hardest. Or getting time together, just figuring out how can we both be at the same place at the same time. Just a couple of quick notes here. You really want to avoid any sort of arguments this month with the Ten of Swords. And also because for a while Mars is in retrograde and this could be affecting just general communication, especially when it comes to, picking a fight. So that's one thing that I'm picking up on here. The other thing is, when it comes to money and finances, there could be just a little bit more focus on not spending as much. And I think that being open with what matters for both of you, finding common grounds for spending is going to potentially also be a point of interest. Now, what I do like here, and I think this is the light at the end of the tunnel on this, is the star energy. Anything that you decide to put into healing, growth, and development relationship-wise will pay off, okay? So pick and choose your battles, focus on rekindling the flame, and with that star energy coming forth, I do think that you both are going to be able to eventually reconnect and sort of be on the same mental page. All right, focusing now on those that are seeking love. Soon, yes, but the Page of Cups in reverse is saying you have to go back into this message of the Holy Grail, which is to be the one that you seek. There's just a little bit of inner healing to take place. And it could simply be, what we're looking at here in the environment, not being afraid to ask for more. When you're focusing on manifesting, one thing that I've been adding for a while, for a couple of years, is all of this or greater. It's telling the universe, not only do I feel worthy and ready to receive love and opportunity, but I'm worth this or greater. So if you think I deserve greater, then I'll accept it. I must be ready. Let's bring it on. And it's not sort of like, I guess. So it's like, wow, thank you for showing me that I can receive more. So the star card is a reminder of that. You can, and if you're ready, you will receive more. The star card could also indicate an Aquarius coming into your general field. Here's the interesting thing. You have a multitude of options. We have fire, we have water, we have possibly an Aquarius coming through. And I would say the important thing for you is to be discerning. In this moment in time, that's why this Holy Grail card was basically saying, inner discovery. It all kind of hinges on who you are and what you want and what you still need to kind of work on. Right now, I would say take your time, be discerning, and then do the inner healing first and foremost. It's going to save you from getting into a relationship where there may be a tendency to argue. So the fire sign is attached to the Ten of Swords, potentially argumentative. We see the water sign being the most receptive. In fact, the water sign might be a soul partnership. If there's an Aquarius, it's also very good. Be mindful of fire right now. It may not mix with what you're looking for, okay? All right, now let's focus on those of you that are happily single. It's a perfect time to be single and happy because the Ace of Wands is showing that you can put your energy wherever you want to, launching something new. And we have that beautiful monarch butterfly on the corner, showing that you can spread your wings. You can completely make an about face change if you want to right now. And this is the time to have some fun and to explore, all right? Very good time for personal development, for achievement, for expansion. Now let's move to the Destiny card. And I like this one. It's come through a few times over the past couple of weeks, but it says, fall, fail, fly. So what I believe is that there is no failure or failing if you learn from it. That for many of you can liberate you from this fear of the Ten of Swords, or at least alleviate the stress that it causes. So something didn't work out the way you wanted. It's okay. It's not the end. This is a new year, a clean slate. Let's brush it off, like the Aaliyah song, brush yourself off and try again. And then fly. I was just talking about the monarch butterfly. So the monarch has to go through the chrysalis, the change from the caterpillar to the butterfly. So you may be in that liminal space where you can't see. So by the way, this is a really cool way to look at Eight of Swords. What if you're just in a cocoon or a chrysalis where you've changed, you're ready, you're going to fly, but right now you just have to break through this initial block. It's not as big as it seems, folks. It feels like that's all it is a breakthrough. And so sometimes we need something to help us move in a new direction, like the Ten of Swords. Sometimes we need something that is so clear that we have to move towards it, like the star, that we're just going to go for it. Whatever it is, I'm trying to help you see that this initial, what feels like a block or a pause, is really just there to help you break through. All right? I'm sure you have at least one more question. This is a perfect time to ask. So focus on the one thing that you need guidance on right now. I'm going to give the cards a shuffle and we'll see what Spirit has to say. Ooh, we like this. All right, so the Sun in reverse. It's a yes, comma, but it's really important in this moment to focus on full embodiment of it. So the Sun, as our star, is the center of our universe, and it pulls everything around it. This is kind of like the Holy Grail one more time. It's feeling like you're everything that you need and that you are going to be okay and that you're going to start to pull things into your trajectory. There's something about reclamation of power or ownership or confidence that needs to be built up a little bit in this moment in time. And as long as that happens, it's a yes. So just focus a little bit inwardly on your self-confidence right now. And then I feel like you're going to be okay. This is a card also of just letting stuff go. If you've been holding on to something and wondering when should I release it, this is the mother, this is the child. And so this is the time to sort of say, yes, let's do it. And by the way, another baby card for those of you that are looking for clarity on can I conceive. But creatively and looking at it as a more figurative thing, it's already conceived. It's about bringing it out there. So that's why the Ace of Wands is saying, let's move forward with it. You've already got something that's worth sharing. Share it now, okay? And really focus from a health perspective on solar plexus strengthening. So any sort of exercise that helps you with the core right now can also help you with some of the challenges that we mentioned. I hope this helped, Virgo. It was my pleasure and my honor to be able to read this for you. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, do me a quick favor. Go ahead and like and subscribe. It's free. It helps the channel grow. And leave a comment. I read every single comment that you guys write. It really helps me to know where you're at and what resonated. Also, remember, you can follow me across social media. It's always my full name, Nicholas Ashbaugh, on all the major platforms. I'm also on Blue Sky. My username there is nicholasashbaugh.com. That's also my website. So if you ever need more news or information, you can go straight there. If you'd like to show love and support, it's all optional, but it does help. You can use super stickers, super chat, and memberships. Thank you in advance for anybody that does that. That's how I'm able to show up and deliver videos just like this. Just a quick reminder, I don't offer private readings. I get that question a lot. If anybody tries to message you on social media, be wise. Know that I don't offer readings and I don't use direct messages. Let me know about it too so I can block and report them. And that's everything. I just want to say thank you so much for being the best part of what I do here on YouTube. Wouldn't be here without your love and support. Apollo's in the other room, so we're going to let him be. But I just want to wish you a very happy new year. And I look forward to seeing you soon. Remember, I do daily, weekly, and monthly videos. You can catch me live every Sunday at 9:15 a.m. Pacific. I hope to see you around the channel. Take care.